Hello there. Well, I'm here to our MDJ series again, my daily journal, and I want use the MDJ as a place where I can practice my English with you guys. So that's my objective here, after all, and I'm rebranding new manners to how should I approach English and my studies of English, I mean, and how I should study it. For now, I gonna use this place here to talk about some topic, and each day I will bring up some topic. I will repeat the same topic, two MDJs. Like the first one, I will talk freely, and the second one, I will try to talk more structuredly, and that's it. For today's topic, I actually want to discuss about what is art and how it is structured. Structured. Oh, I can't say. Um, well, art is such um controversial topic. The what is art question and the art itself has been somewhat of discussion throughout the centuries. Aristotle in his book, The Art of Poetic and The Art of Rhetoric, that I have right here. You can see here I have this book. He already discussed in some degree what art is. All all the philosophers through time seems to have somewhat interested in this topic. Well, someone can say that art is a part of human life, and I could agree with that. We can say that realistic art is a human thing. Yeah, we could try to argue that there is some animals that seems to construct something and we could call this art, but that's not the case because animals don't have the intention to create art at all. Animals don't want to create art. When an animal creates something, they don't want to create this for art purposes. They want to create this for other purposes. For example, they want to build a house so they can stay in that house for the winter, for example. The bees, for instance, create like big structures as their place where they live. I forgot the name in English. The hives, I don't know. Well, ants as well create like big structures in which they can live. They can live in it. So that's something quite very interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of animals has the ability to create things so they can live in it or create structures somehow. For example, the beavers create some structures with wood that has its function in the environment. For example, they can create some structures with wood that uh, holds up the water, and thus the environment get more benefits from it because the aquatic life can live more freely without worry with big problems. I cannot argue for that for like argue in that topic for long because I do not have the knowledge of to talk about the beavers. Uh, but that's a point. That's a very interesting point. My point is that animals create some structures. It seems that the animals create some structures, but we could not say that animals create art. Like the art has in itself somewhat of representation. When I paint a picture, for example, I do not want to, and I have here in my side, I think that you guys can see this one here. It's a picture that I've painted. When a human paints a picture, paints a frame, they are able to express through that frame things that are not that frame specifically. The humans are able to express some concept or idea or even sentiments through this uh, through this type of physical thing. For example, we can express our feelings and sentiments through music that it's nothing more physically than a bunch of vibrations in the air. So that's a very interesting point. In the way that for art exists as it is, like as properly exists as art, it needs to represent other things than art, like the physical aspect of the art itself. Because realistically, all the art has a physical aspect. When I talk, for example, of poetry, I'm using the vibrations of air as well, like all my phonetic structure to represent the sound. So there is a physical part involved with. The same goes for pictures and for music, for cinema. All the things that we see as art has the physical aspect in it, but that's not what makes them art. For example, this headphone, it's not art, like in a first glance, because it has not the purpose of representing something more than itself. That's a very interesting point, isn't it? So a thing must try to represent other things through it in such a way that we can look to a physical aspect of it, and by look I mean to perceive in general, because we can see like the physical aspects of the art, some types of art, and the others we need to listen to. For example, the music, the cinema. For example, we have uh, um more a visual thing, because the cinema is primarily composed by movement. It's what makes the cinema, and like the other aspects of art, like the other types of art, we can perceive in different ways, but all comes to our senses. All comes to our physical perception of the world in some degree, and that's the point. So all the types of art seems to have um, the physical aspect of it and the representation, the we could say the what it represents, like the things that's being represented through it. When a person creates a thing, trying to create an art, that's very clear that it is an art, right? When someone creates, like for example, a frame for, we are talking for like the example that we gave before, when a person creates a frame and he or she wants to represent, let's say that the person wants to represent the love in that frame, it's clear an art because it has the physical part, proper, like the proper physical part that is intrinsical to the art itself, and the person who tried to represent something, like the artist tried to represent something, and this something exists. In this case, in our example, the what the person's trying to represent is the love, which is a very complicated thing to represent and to talk about. Philosophically speaking, we can like see love in several different perspectives, but my point is, it's very clear that a frame that a person paints aiming to create art is an art, right? It's a species of art. That's clear. I think that probably no one would argue against that. Probably everyone would agree in it. Uh, Besides that, there is a problem that emerges. If someone wants to create art, and if someone wants to represent art, it can be it can be art. Like, if someone wants to represent art, through represent something through a physical thing, that's art. We can, generally speaking, say that. But the problem is, what if the person doesn't wanted to create art? Would be that art or no? Well, I will leave the discussion here, um, and I want to see you guys maybe comment. What do you think about it? And maybe we can keep talking about this topic, and I will try to create my ideas, organize my ideas here with you guys. Um, but that's it for today. See you guys later. Bye.